I was waiting, okay, it's going to happen, it's going to happen. And all of a sudden, we was walking down the street, and all of a sudden, people started just going out like dominoes. And it was like, I mean, it was, you know, I was kind of moving down the street, and then I found myself going up. And when I started going up, I found myself, this is what woke me up in the dream, because I found myself going, oh, like, I was like, I'm not scared of heights, but I'm thinking, you know, and I heard the angels say, hey, I got you. It's okay, we got you, I got you. I'm like, so I don't know how that's biblical. I know that I told my mom and sister that, and so today, my sister said, you know, I can't sing some hymns because of when it talks about the rapture, I started giggling. They started giggling and laughing today because they're thinking of me. They'll always remember that when they talk about the rapture. So anyways, be careful what you study before you go to bed at night, because the book of Daniel got me. I'm sure that was it. So we are going to bring the book of Daniel to a close tonight. And so just as a kind of some reminders, the book of Daniel from chapters 1 through chapter 6. I don't think I have these in your notes, but remember, it's a historical narrative. It is those 65 years that Daniel served with various kings in Babylon and also in Persia. And so the first 6 chapters, historical narrative. The last half of Daniel, chapter 7 through 12, is actually a prophetic journal of the various dreams and visions that Daniel was given to. Those Daniel's visions and dreams were actually given by God to him. And so he was writing them as an addendum to all these other kind of just sporadic and attached to the book of Daniel. So all of these things and that we're finding we find in chapter 7 through 12 are in Daniel's future. Okay, so he's getting things that he's being told that's going to be in his future. But some of those things, as we look from this standpoint back, some of those things have been fulfilled. They've already happened in our past, but some of those things that God gave Daniel has yet to happen even in our own lifetime and will happen, later. So these are some strong prophetic applications for our world that's going to occur. And so God kind of gives us an advance notice. I mean, he kind of puts it on notice. This is what's going to take place. He lets Daniel know about it. And, we also have the book of Revelation that God allowed John to see, and then Daniel to see some of the things that John had also saw. So we're going to look at some things tonight. So remember in our study last week in chapter 10 that an angel of the Lord appeared to Daniel, and he gave him a message, and he said, hey, I would have given this to you about 21 days ago, but there was some spiritual warfare that was occurring in the heavenlies. And so the angel said, I was delayed until Michael, the archangel came and helped me, and he was able to provide those things and that message to Daniel. So I'm going to begin. I'm not going to read the entire chapter. There's a few verses I want to read, and also in chapter 11 that's pertinent, and also chapter 12 that's pertinent. So I'm going to begin in chapter 11, verse 36. And also, it kind of starts out, there's a reference to a king. But this king is really a metaphor for the Antichrist. You'll kind of see it in the description as we begin to unpack this. But look at verse 36 and verse 37, and then we'll turn to chapter 12, read a few verses there, and then we'll kind of start unpacking some things. All right, so beginning verse 36, chapter 11 says, the king will do as he pleases. He will exalt and magnify himself above every god, and will say unheard of things against the God of gods. He will be successful until the time of wrath is completed, for what has been determined must take place. He will show no regard for the gods of his fathers, or for the one desired by women, nor will he regard any god, but he's going to exalt himself above them all. All right, so then turn to chapter 12 and look at verses 1 through 4, and then skip all the way down to the last verse of that chapter. says, at that time, Michael, the great prince who protects your people, will arise. There will be a time of distress such as has not happened from the beginning of nations until then. But at that time, your people, everyone whose name is found written in the book, will be delivered. Multitudes who sleep in the dust of the earth will awake, some to everlasting life, others to shame and everlasting contempt. Those who are wise will shine like the brightness of the heavens, and those who lead many to righteousness like the stars forever and ever. But you, Daniel, close up and seal the words of the scroll until the time of the end.